What is going on, everybody? Tyler Brand back here with another video, and today we are going to talk a little bit about the NFL rumor mill, specifically the Delanie Walker rumor that the Patriots are showing interest in signing Delanie Walker, at least for the 2020 season. That has come up this Monday afternoon. So we're going to break down a little bit of Delanie Walker, what he would bring. Should the Patriots sign him? Should he not? Let's get into it. So, Delanie Walker, he's not a young, spry chicken. He has been around this league for quite a while. The 35-year-old tight end was drafted all the way back in 2006, almost a different time from now, where we're in 2020, of course. And he's been in very few places in those 14 years in the league. He spent 7 years in San Francisco, and he spent 7 years in Tennessee. So the guy, the main tight end in two organizations for over a decade, that already has a lot of promise to it in itself. In 183 games between San Francisco and Tennessee, he's compiled 504 receptions, 5,888 yards, and 36 touchdowns. Now, he was good, he was effective with San Francisco, but he goes over to Tennessee and he really flourishes in Tennessee. He has 800 plus receiving yards in every year from 2014 to 2017, and even beyond that, he is top 10 in targets for tight ends between 2014 and 2017. So he really flourishes as a pass catcher once he gets to Tennessee and really takes that next step into being a pretty premier but under-the-radar tight end for a lot of years as a Tennessee Titan. Now, what makes Delanie Walker intriguing is he is more than just a pass catcher. He's also a very good pass blocker. In 8 of his 14 seasons between San Francisco and Tennessee, he's averaged a Pro Football Focus grade of above 70 as a pass blocker. So I think that really brings an interesting side to the tight end role in New England, especially since Matt LaCosse opted out this past weekend. Not only is Delanie a good pass blocker, he is also improved as a run blocker, and according to Pro Football Focus, through the years of 2013 and 2017, he was every year a top 10 tight end. He's actually averaged the 6th best tight end in those years between 2013 and 2017. So he has been an elite tight end for a point in his career, although maybe he's been a little bit undervalued in a city and in a market like Tennessee. Now we have to get into why he is still a free agent in the beginning of August. That is because in the last 2 seasons, he's played just 8 games in 2018 and 2019. In 2018, he was on IR, I believe with an ankle injury, and then in 2019, he was banged up the entire season, and he just never really got right. He did have 2 touchdowns, and in 2019, he had 21 yards, but he was never really right in 2019. So he's missed a ton of time in the last 2 years. But before that, again, 14, or I should say 12 years of very good to excellent tight end work around the league. So, should New England bring in Delanie Walker for the 2020 season? And at first, when I was kind of, mulling over this news, I was very wishy-washy. I didn't think Delanie should come in because I didn't want him to take snaps away from guys like Devin Asiasi and Dalton Keene and Jakob Johnson if they use him, or Ryan Izzo for whatever that's worth. Probably not really Ryan Izzo. But, however, I think that he probably does more good than bad being in New England's locker room. He could probably groom a guy like Asiasi, Dalton Keene, Jakob Johnson. He could probably show him a little bit of the tricks of the trade, especially for a 14-year vet. And I think he brings an element of an offensive line, or not so much the fullback, but an offensive line, an extra blocker, an extra run blocker, which I think really New England, at the right price, especially at this point in the offseason, could use, even if he's only in on running downs or even if he's only in on special packages. I think he could probably do a lot more good for New England than harm, especially bringing him in on maybe a 1-year vets minimum deal. It's actually, looking at his stats and his career and what he is as a blocker, it's almost surprising that he hasn't signed a 1-year deal with a competitive team to this point in the offseason. So with all that being said, I think New England should go for it. I don't think it'll cost very much. You bring in a guy that could definitely make the team better in 2020, especially considering the last few days with Matt LaCosse opting out, with C.J. Mosley for the Jets opting out. So all of a sudden you look at a team like the Jets are probably out of it completely for 2020. So you bring in a guy, New England should compete for a division title. It's up in the air whether they're a Super Bowl contender, but they should at least compete for a division title, and Delanie Walker can at least do that for you. So I think they should bring him in. They should give him a shot, absolutely. But that is going to do it for this video. Once again, I'm Tyler Brandt. Follow me on Twitter at the Tyler Brandt, on Instagram at Talking Pats. And also, before we sign off here, I want to wish a happy birthday to the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Brady, the 6-time Super Bowl champion, the 2-time NFL MVP, Mr. 199, Mr. 6-time Super Bowl champ, Mr. Greatest of all time. Wish he was celebrating it in Foxborough, absolutely, but if he's happy in Tampa, then I suppose I'm happy. But happy birthday, Tommy. Happy 43rd birthday, GOAT. But until next time, once again, I'm Tyler Brandt. Catch you on the next video.